It's Monday night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Cageside Live, presented by CageSidePress.com. I'm Eddie Law. It's Alex Behunin, the one, the superstar, Mr. Checkmark. On today's show, Jake Paul's fight gets canceled. We speculate why. UFC Vegas 59 this weekend. But first, the GOAT gets her belt back. Amanda Nunes with, I would say, dominant. I don't know how you feel about the fight, but I would say a dominant win over a very, very ridiculously, like almost scary, tough Juliana Pena, who had a gash cut on her head. She was bleeding everybody into the fight, but would not quit. To see Amanda Nunes get her belt back and be champ for the second time, I believe the first time anyone's ever done it. What did you think of the fight, and what does a second stint as champ mean to you as far as Nunes goes?
I mean, it just adds to her. It just adds to her legacy, and man, I mean, she beat the shit out of her. She beat her down.
Boy.
And it makes you think, like, and I don't use this a lot, but like was that first fight a fluke? You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes you think. Mm-hmm. Like, was it like, was all the things that Amanda was saying, like leading up to the fight, like her being sick, injuries, stuff like that, like it makes you think, because she beat the shit out of Juliana Pena. And it was just like that one armbar attempt from Juliana Pena. Other than that, I mean, like it was dominant.
Yeah, no. I on Saturday I did a guest spot with Tapped Out. These guys that do radio and podcasts and everything. They're on Twitch everywhere. And they asked me, they were like, "Hey, why should we bet on Nunes?" And I was like, "Cause she's the GOAT. Like she's the GOAT." And they were like, "Well, what happened that first fight?" And I just told them, like, "Look, Nunes physically looked awful last time." And I told them, I was like, "If you guys look at Friday's weigh-in, she looked really good. First one to weigh in, or one of the first to weigh in, and her body looked lean. It looked cut. It looked like she did when she, kept defending and winning the belt." So I thought after the fight, I was like, okay, cardio held up, strength held up, and she had that right hand was popping at the right time. It was a beautiful, beautiful strategy. And as far as Pena goes, man, that I'm not gonna lie, when she got that one arm bar, I was like, oh, this could be it. And then Nunes defended it perfectly. Once she defended it and got the arm out, it was game. But what does this loss mean for Pena?
I mean, you lose the GOAT, right? If they wanted to do a trilogy down the line, they can. I just don't think they do it next. Even though, I mean, it was a fun fight for it being a beatdown. I think she has to go back. Maybe she'll fight. Maybe like rematch Holly Holm. Someone like that. I know that Raquel Pennington really wants to fight her, so like that makes sense. But other than that, I mean, I think she needs to take some time, rest, and then come back.
Now, I know I call it a dominant win for Nunes, and I still think to this day, and I rewatched it. Look, everyone that gives me crap in Twitter and everywhere else, I do go back and watch the card again the second time, which you should feel for me when the card sucks, but this one didn't. So I rewatched it on Sunday, and I felt the same way, dominant. Outside, like you said, outside of that one arm bar, what else did Pena really do except block punches with her face and elbows with her face? That's kind of all it was. Getting dropped 5 times in 2 rounds. Is there any other word to use except for dominant? And then getting taken down, like 8 times? Like Nunes literally did everything in the book to Pena, and now Pena was tough as hell. So now you say you don't want to see the Nunes Pena trilogy right away. I agree with the way this fight went. I want Pena to go back to the drawing board, figure some shit out, then come back and give us like a really good fight, hopefully. What do you do next with Nunes first?
If I had my wish, I would do Nunes Cyborg too. Like that's what I would do.
Oh, that'd be so dope.
Man, and Cyborg wants it. And like she's even like kind of hinting out on Twitter, like she'd be down to come back to the UFC. It's just everybody just fucking trashes her whenever she talks about like, oh, you left the UFC, and it's like, yeah, she did. Like she left on bad terms. But like that's the fight I want to see. Like you can obviously do Nunes versus Shevchenko 2 or 3. You know, I just don't. I don't know. I don't know. I that was the fight I wanted for a long, long time. But like right now, like it kind of feels like Amanda Nunes. Like I don't know. I don't know.
I'm with you. This Amanda looks like I want to say she was starch bullet, but it wouldn't be as close as the last 2 fights.
Especially at bantamweight, you know.
Especially,
like,
yes.
You know? But other than that, man, like Caitlin Vieira, I mean, she earned the shot. She
should get it.
Yeah. If you're going by the rankings and like everything that's happened, she deserves the shot. I don't give a fuck about that fight at all.
I hear you.
You know, I don't. So yeah, that's my thought. If I had my wish, I would do Nunes Cyborg too.
That would be dope. You know, now I don't know how what Cyborg's contract status is with Bellator or anything, or if she could get out or whatever. But yeah, she would have to for that fight to even happen. She would have to come back and stay in the UFC. I don't think a one-off and then leave again to go somewhere else. I don't think Dana would allow that because he's like, what if you beat Nunes and then you leave? Like that doesn't help us, or them. All right, what about Pena? Who'd you give her as a her next fight?
I think I'd do Raquel Pennington.
Dude, that'd be crazy because that'd be like what do they call it in wrestling? Like an I Quit match. That's kind of what that would be like. Raquel's like freaking tough. I mean, if it wasn't for how badly Nunes beat the crap out of her at MSG, that fight would have gone the whole way.
I don't know if it'd be the most exciting fight, but just the bad blood itself, they don't like each other, and they haven't liked each other since their season on The Ultimate Fighter. Like it goes back that far.
I remember that now. They mentioned that. I remember that. Real quick in the comment section, Pena has a titanium chin. She got something in there, Otis. Otis, who do you want to give? Actually, he says it right here. I think Nunes got to stop playing around in people's guard, though. She almost got submitted twice. She was making a point. Pena still has top fights, though. Pena versus Holly Holm or Vieira would be nice. Yeah, I think you mentioned one of those. Yeah, so. Hey, head kick was good, dude. Appreciate you. And then Ivan says, I have arrived. The deep turns around and Guns N' Roses starts playing. All right, Ivan. All right.
What did you think about the main event commentary? Because it was the first time, like, I see people bitch about Joe Rogan all the time, and like, I don't. For the most part, I don't care. I love him in DC. Like, there's like a fun energy. Like, it's a big fight when they're together. This fight, it was. I was like, what the fuck are you guys watching? And I saw people like they were saying like they were trying to make the fight competitive, right? Because it was such a beatdown. So like the casual fan, they were trying to make it competitive, which I get. But like, dude, like saying Nunes isn't a good grappler, like what?
Yeah. So again, because I live tweet this for Cageside Press live. I actually, because I don't like to be influenced by what they say in the commentary, I mute it and I put music on. I do, however, when I rewatch it, have the commentary on. So on Sunday night after the event, people were tweeting me. It was like, dude, could you believe that? They were both crap. DC was crap and all this stuff. They were saying this and that. And I'm like, I don't listen to the commentary, but when I watch it, Sunday morning, I'll let you know. I'm with you. I've never complained about the commentary, not once. Literally, not one time have I ever complained about commentary. They were trying so hard to pump up Pena. They were trying so hard. And it's like, I think at some point, like DC was like, "Oh, I don't know if I would do this. I would make her stand up. I wouldn't drop into her guard." And I sit there going, like, "Isn't Nunes a black belt in jiu-jitsu? Not only that, isn't she a high level black belt? Has she not finished chicks on the ground there? DC, settle down." Like, I think they were trying so hard to give Pena a chance that they kind of like synced up at the same time and started saying the same stuff. Meanwhile, like me watching the fight, I was like, "No, this is fine. What are you guys talking about? Yeah, she's got a little overhook on her arm. Yeah, she's trying to omoplata. Okay, but it's not going to happen here. Too sweaty. Arms in the wrong spot. Elbows already out. Can we just move on? You know what I mean? Like the one time she got the Kimura. She had it locked. She had the grip good. The grip in. The legs weren't in the right place. Anyone that trains saw it and be like, "The fuck are you talking about, Joe? That's not. No, she doesn't have that." Like, and not to mention, Amanda just on instinct grabs her own thigh. It's one of the defenses for Kimura. And I was just like, she's not going anywhere here. They're sweaty. They're bloody. Her arm's going to slip. She's going to lose the grip, and she's not going to finish this at all. And that's exactly what happened. Pops her arm out. So I'm with it. That was the first time where I was looking at it. I was like, damn, now I know what people were talking about. Like,
yeah,
I thought people just bitch about everything. But no, I hear you on that.
Yep.
Ivan says Joe Rogan was off all week. He was, this whole actually, I have a question about that in a second, but let's go through the rest of the comments. He said dudes were in the main event. Yeah, true. Headkick says the whole card outside of the fights was garbage, in my opinion. Judges, commentary, bringing the champ in the cage. That one was a little weird. Although I thought Moreno handled that very well. Can't not like that dude. Moreno's the most stand-up guy probably you've ever known. On the commentary thing. And on the so I don't know if you were reading the Slack chat we had, but we were talking about how Dana doesn't do too many pressers anymore. He doesn't do too many media, like he doesn't do too much anymore. Like he's constantly missing. People are wondering to the point where people were asking about him. Rogan's been doing that for a minute. He stopped doing fighting that's who knows how long ago. And if he doesn't like to travel on a pay-per-view, he just doesn't do it. Do you think these two guys are starting to phase out? Maybe not on purpose, but just like they're just trying to be like, like I don't really want to do this anymore.
No, I think Joe really likes to do it, and he only missed the pay-per-views early this year because people were trying to cancel him.
Right.
So, and I think that was a Disney move. And so he doesn't travel aboard. Is it how you say it? Abroad. So he doesn't travel abroad. But I think he'll do it until he just doesn't find it fun anymore. And then after Dana, he just had a whole bunch of shit happen in July. Like it was like 2 of his kids' birthdays. It was his birthday, so he was just like, fuck it,
Yeah, no, and it's he's so in there all the time though. That made it really strange to not see him around all the time. So maybe I think you're probably on that point. Are you probably on point with that with his kids and all that? I think one of his kids just turned 21 too, so that's a big birthday too. So
yeah, exactly.
Headkick says he's picky and choosy and has earned that, in my opinion. I think he's talking about Joe. You think Endeavor's calling the shots? I mean, Hunter's calling a lot of shots for when it seems like Hunter Campbell. I mean, Hunter Campbell, we're just talking about what's the fella's? How do you say his last name? Roberto
Soldic.
Yeah. He just signed. So Roberto Soldic just signed with one. I thought he was coming to the UFC. I thought for sure that's like a no-brainer. And so what I read, let me correct me if you read anything else. What I read was that he meant with Hunter Campbell, not Dana White, and he went to one instead of the UFC. If being in business for a long time, like that kind of thing means something to your customers, to whoever you're trying to pick up, whatever. Do you think that maybe like he felt shunned a little bit by Dana? He's like, all right, screw this, I'm going to one.
I think they probably offered him like 40 and 40, and he was like, nah, I'm gonna go to one.
Chachu's like, thanks, Dana.
Yeah,
appreciate you. Yeah. Jesus. Well, what are you gonna do? All right, co-main event: Brandon Moreno, flyweight title back in, or the interim flyweight title, and back in the pocket. What did you think of the fight? Because I thought Kai Kara-France. First of all, he came in looking like he was about to try to beat up the bully kid in the yard that took his toy. Meanwhile, Brandon Moreno walked in with the same kind of gaze, looking like, look, I'm not a bully, but I will fuck you up. Like, you're not getting this toy back. Like, it was really, it made me laugh. But the fight itself, Kai Kara-France was fighting a Kai Kara-France type of fight, and Brandon Moreno picked him apart. Like, any attack he did, like if it worked in the first round, it didn't work in the second round. If it worked in the second round, it damn sure didn't work in the third round. it was like just a top level performance for Brandon. What did you think of it? Yeah, just what did you think of the fight itself and Brandon Moreno's win?
Yeah, it was good. Thank God it didn't go to the scorecards because two
Yeah.
judges had Kai winning, and then the other one had Brandon winning.
So wow.
Yeah, man, Brandon looked good. I mean, in hindsight, I wish we would have got Moreno versus Pantoja for the interim title.
Oh God, that would have been a fight.
Just that fight needs to happen, man. Moreno is a star, and it's so cool to see it because he was cut, fought his way back, and now he's a fucking massive star. I was there at UFC 263 in Arizona. I was there in Anaheim for him fight, dude. They love the Hispanics, love him, bro. Love him. And it's fucking so smart the UFC does that. We go to the Hispanic market and the Mexicans fucking eat them up, man. And I mean, like, imagine if Yair Rodriguez and Brian Ortega were in Dallas last night. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude,
Jesus.
Yeah.
That'd have been so crazy. I still don't understand why they put that on Long Island. I'm like, what? Neither one of these guys have shit to do with Long Island.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway.
That's a fumble, but man, I think it was a great performance by Brandon Moreno, and I mean, I'm excited to see the fourth fight with Figgy. I mean, they're always fun, I feel bad for Pantoja just because like he's the boogeyman, you know, that like it sucks. It just sucks, like all this the timing and stuff, but he'll fight for the title eventually.
Hey, look, after what he did on Saturday night, there's no way you can deny that man. A couple, not even one more, maybe like not even a couple, maybe like one more performance, something like light, and just a win. You got to be talking about him already in the title picture. So you're on point with that. Kai Kara France spammed the hell out of overhand rights, if I remember correctly, and he was trying to knock out Brandon Moreno. And I was thinking the whole time, like, that's not the move, man. So you know, he ends up losing in front of Izzy and Volkanovski. I know that Sid kickboxing team really wanted a third title. Me, Brandon Moreno fan. Sorry. And so, which is funny, mentioning that, you know, the Hispanic market and the Mexican, you know, people we love our guys, right? But my dad doesn't even watch fight. He doesn't watch fighting at all. He watches boxing once in a long ass while. And he texts me. He goes, "Did Brandon Moreno win?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he did." He goes, "Hell yeah!" I'm like, "Do you watch the shit?" He goes, "Nah, dude." But you know, my dad's like, you know, customers and all that because he's a business owner. He was like, they've been talking about that all week. They can't wait to see the fight and all that. And I'm like, he's like, "Oh, send me the highlights." So I sent him a YouTube clip. But anyway, yeah, like it's that kind of thing with Brandon Moreno. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, for Brandon Moreno's Figgy's the next fight. There's nobody else. There's no point unless Figgy is somebody that's injured. What did you make? Now it wasn't planned, and Dana White mentioned this in the press conference, post-fight press conference. It was not planned, and Dana found it a little rude to bring him in. Did you feel the same way, or did you have like a oh shit, it's almost WWE style type of thing?
I liked it. I like it when they bring the champions in. Like, I mean, I get what they were saying. Like it was his moment, but like, bro, it was an interim title. Like, come on. I mean, you know, like, was it really that rude? You know, like, yeah. I mean, I liked it. And it was very interesting because like it could have got very messy very quick because Figgy's a very intense guy, but Brandon, you know, turned it into like this. He did his thing, and you know,
very respectful moment.
It made it very respectful, and no, it was good. It was good. I see people. I can understand people's complaints, but for me personally, I enjoyed it.
I think for the fact that we're going to a fourth fight between those two, it was the perfect time to do something like that. I think had you done it after, you know, Brandon won the title the first time, the first time, and let's say Figgy gets in his face and goes, "Do it again," whatever, then you could be like, "Hey, what the hell, dude? You just lost. Give him his moment." Second fight, same thing, but it's, you know, had Brandon done it the other way, but or whatever, this third fight, but yeah, I think this one, it was like, oh, look, we've seen this fight before. Brandon's won the title twice now. Like, this is the perfect moment. If you're gonna do something like this is the time to do it. So I was fine with it. I couldn't really tell other than, you know, the whole taking his moment thing that Dana said, but no, I thought it was great too. I like that kind of thing when it makes sense. Like the one that they did that I was a little hyped for that never came to fruition was when Brock Lesnar stepped in the cage with DC. And Boston guys, get your ass in here. Like, and it never happened. And I wish it had, because it would have just been a weird looking fight. This tiny little dude in DC against a giant in Brock Lesnar, like, it'd have been weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
We never got it.
I love that. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah. And then we can go through the rest of the card, but let's talk about just the big ones. Derek Lewis. So this is where I come from with it, because a lot of people were upset, right? They were like, early stoppage, what a terrible ref. No. I haven't watched the replay repeatedly. I think Derek Lewis got hurt. I think he dropped. And I think because Dan was sort of behind him. All Dan Marguliotta saw was Derek Lewis hit the ground, and that was it. And it was a crappy angle he was from. He couldn't see shit from shit. So when he started going in, Derek started popping up. It was just a really unfortunate situation. So I think Dan's a great ref. He might be one of the best. But it was definitely an early stop. It's just one of those things where you're like, what are you going to do? Like, shit, this sucks. It does suck for Derek Lewis losing again in Texas. That just does not help that whole narrative they have about it. But what do you think of this of the stoppage?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was early, but you can't blame Big Dan for that stoppage, because he face planted, he fell face first. Yeah, I mean, you can't blame it. So that's 3 losses in Texas. Big Dan was the referee for all 3 of those, for all 3 of his losses. I mean, I think you run it back. I think you rebook them and you put them on that UFC 279 card, on the Hamzat Diaz card. Fuck it.
Just do it. You're gonna do crazy fights. That's the card to do it in, for real. Exactly. And then a couple for us to talk about before we move on. Like you're talking about Alexander Pantoja, blitzed the hell out of Alex Perez. I felt really bad for Perez. I was just like, seriously, as soon as it said go on, Pantoja's like, I have bitches going on. He was throwing everything, and then he chokes, or what was the rear naked choke, right? No, neck crank. He neck cranked him. Which, by the way, all you assholes on Twitter, they were like, it wasn't even under the chin. Come over. I'll neck crank you. I'll neck crank you. I know how it hurts like a bitch, dude. I would have tapped too. Do you want to eat the next day? You tap. So, like I said, Pantoja, likely title shot sometime soon here. But since my 99% sure going to get Brandon Moreno, Figueiredo 4, what do you want to do with Pantoja if you're the matchmaker?
I mean, I think he sits out.
There you go.
Let's see. So they're probably going to fight in January. So if they do fight in Brazil, I heard that they're going to go to Brazil in January.
That makes sense.
September, October, November, December, January. So that's 5 months. And then depending on how that fight goes, like that means he'll be looking for like maybe another 8-month layoff. That's tough. If he wants to stay active, maybe he rematches Askar Askarov.
Would you look at Kai Kara-France as an option? He's beat him already, right? So that's one thing. But would you look at that rematch?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely a fight. I mean, I think if I was in, I would just sit out.
Right.
The only thing about that is the UFC does not like when you sit out.
Right.
So,
which I think is bullshit. UFC. Come on now.
Yeah, it is. It is. So if they offer him a fight and he turns it down, that might kind of sour it. But if I was Pantoja, I would definitely sit out.
100% with you on that one. And then the other fight to talk about, obviously, Magomed Ankalaev gets the second round TKO of Anthony Smith, because Anthony Smith apparently either broke his ankle or broke his leg or fractured or did something to it. Do you rematch that, or like Ankalaev was saying, like, what else do I have to do type of deal? Or do you give Ankalaev the next shot at 205?
Yeah, no, I do Ankalaev versus like Jan Blachowicz.
That's a good one.
Like that's the fight. I think they're gonna do Yuri versus Glover too. Just makes all the sense in the world. And you do Jan versus Ankalaev for the number 1 contender. Yeah, that's what I would do.
There you go. All right. Now that my brain is completely spacing and I completely forgot what I was waiting to do or talk about, we'll just very quickly talk about this weekend's card. Oh, by the way, shout out to James Cross retiring as one of the better coaches, if not top 3 coach in MMA right now. Everyone's going over there. Brandon Moreno went over to Kansas. So good for him. That was cool to see. I didn't even know he's so active. That was news to me. What else we got here? All right, let's talk about. And Aspen Ladd's out of her fight. I only mentioned that because Aspen Ladd blocked me on Twitter because I said, "Hey, basically said like, hey, you didn't get pulled from the fight because they didn't want you to fight. You got pulled from the fight because you missed weight and you looked unhealthy. Like, I hope you get better." And then I got blocked. I'm like, all right, Aspen Ladd out of a fight. Sorry. Let's see. Here we go. Anthony needs to stay in the booth, says Ivan. And he goes, move on and collab one legitimately. Fair enough. And then otherwise he's going to be doing the Food Truck Diaries 2.0. Oh, with Anthony? Ooh. You know, I just caught up to the whole, like, I knew people didn't like Brendan Shaw, for example, because they talk about the Food Truck Diaries. But I didn't realize how much people disliked them until I accidentally ran into the subreddit that just trashes them the whole time. I need to get on Reddit more often. They hate that dude.
And it's all warranted. He's a fucking moron.
Dude, he was saying some shit like people. What's his name? China, something or other on Twitter. I'm sorry, dude. We follow each other. We've known each other for a long time, and I enjoy your stuff every time you post it. But he posts either Tito stuff or Brandon Shaw stuff, and both of them miss awfully on either pronunciations or knowledge at all of the sport, which is hilarious. But you know, is what it is. All right, this weekend's card: UFC Vegas 59 main event. Thiago Santos, Jamal Hill. Co-main event: Vicente Luque, Jeff Neal. Is there any other fight that's at all worth watching this weekend? Because those two to me and a couple others in the card we'll talk about are the ones to watch.
So I do have to eat crow. I called UFC 277 a weak card. It was a very fun card. I enjoyed myself this weekend. This weekend's card though, it is rough. Rough.
Yeah.
I like Terrence McKinney versus Eric Gonzalez.
That's the other fight I want to talk about. Yeah.
I like
how that's not on the main card, by the way. I don't get that.
It's so dumb. I'm very excited for Josh Quinlan's return or his UFC debut against Jason Witt. One of those guys are going to get knocked out, and we have an interview with Josh Quinlan, and he was very, very honest and open about him popping for steroids. And him doing it willingly. So that's interesting. Other than that, man, it is weak. Sam Alvey, hopefully it'll be his last fight in the UFC.
Watch him win now, dude. Watch him win.
Yeah, dude, he's gonna win and he's gonna get a new 3-fight contract. And it is what it is. And then so the Ultimate Fighter finale, I watched the whole season. It was a god-awful season. Just wasn't entertaining at all. The only thing that was interesting was Juliana Miller. She has a personality. She can get kind of crazy. She's fun. So her versus Brogan Walker. I think Juju wins. And then Zach Palga versus Muhammad Usman. I think this is a walk in the park for Zach Palga. I think he knocks Usman out.
Damn, no push behind Usman's brother.
He's just not.
He doesn't.
He's not his brother, and he needs to get better. That's just he's just he only has like 10 fights, and they're not against good competition. So like he just needs to develop more. But the co-main and main, like you said, are fun. Vicente Luque, Jeff Neal, that's going to be fun. I don't know if we get a finish in that just because they're both very durable.
They hit hard too, both guys. This is going to be a crazy fight. Honestly, probably the one I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And then Thiago Santos versus Jamal Hill. Man, it's a big step up for Jamal Hill, but I think he can get it done. I don't know if he finishes Thiago Santos, but that's fine in my opinion because I think he needs the 5-round experience, and it'd be a good one to go against with Thiago Santos. Chael was he needs to win. So it's kind of like just perfect matchmaking at this point. And yeah.
There you go. And then just a couple comments here. Hey, because I'll be calling the fights in Phoenix this weekend, so I'll miss it. RUF 48. Ooh, that's real quick before we get out of here, head kick. Is that it? Down here by on the way to Tucson, the what's it called? Fuck. Wild Horse Pass. Let me know where those are. I'm not gonna make it, but it is what it is. And then apparently Ivan. Look, dude, it's all Arizona boys in the building. Ivan, born in Tucson, lives in Peoria. Head kicks in Tucson. I'm in Phoenix. It works out. Celebrity theater. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
The first round of playoffs for PFL. Anthony Pettis for Stevie Ray, the rematch.
And you talked to Anthony too. I saw that.
Yeah, I talked with Anthony. I'm talking with Josh Silveira tomorrow. I like Silveira versus Mario Akhmedov because they're teammates at AT&T, so it's a very interesting storyline going into that. Other than that, no.
There you go. And then Dana White Contender Series tomorrow night. I know you went to the Wayne's today. Any thoughts on that card?
Yeah, it should be a lot better than last week's card. I'll put it that way. Yeah,
bro, that's the first one that I watched. That I actually watched in a long time. And so I was like, all right, cool. And it's like usually you see these super hungry fighters, and I'm like, what in the fuck is going on here? And then what's the dude, the only guy that got the contract? What's his name?
Joe Pyfer.
He needs that T-shirt. Be Joe Pyfer. He needs that shirt so bad. So it was, and he's got a fight coming up. I believe he just booked him. So, yeah.
Tomorrow should be fun. There should be a lot of finishes. The main event, Charlie Campbell versus Chris Duncan, is a fun fight. One of those guys will be going to sleep. And then the one that kicks off the card, Shaman and versus Billy Goff, very, very, very fun fight. I don't like that they're fighting each other just because I think they're both UFC caliber. So it's just one of those fights where one of them is going to get in, one of them has to work their way back.
Yeah, no, it's a rough one. Be Joe Pyfer. Yeah, Dana White losing his like he was really upset last week. Like he was pissed, and he just walked off the interview too at the end. So
yeah, it was god awful. They were god awful. Like just
yeah. You got to be hungry. You got to be Joe Pyfer. All right, you can find Alex on Twitter at Alex Behunin. I think the same on Instagram. We're at Cageside Press on all the social medias. I'm at Ep.13 on Twitter. And appreciate you guys. We'll catch you guys next week. Hopefully at the same time, 6:30ish. I think we're moving the time up, just because it's easier for everybody. So we'll catch you guys next week. For myself, Mr. Alex Behunin, and the entire team, we appreciate you guys. Catch you guys next week. Good night.